Hi guys, and welcome to today's video where I'm playing with this palette from Colored Raine. This is the Secret Garden palette, and also I'll be using two shimmers from my Simply Posh singles. And today I'm going to be talking about PR, receiving it, not receiving it, and the fact that maybe when you don't have as much, you're forced to be more creative with what you do have. Today I'm going to be playing with my new Secret Garden palette from Colored Raine. They're out of business now, but this is new to my collection. It was given to me by a subscriber. She picked it up during their liquidation sale. This is what the palette looks like. It's a boiled down version of the Ace Beauté Tropical Nights palette, or maybe the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty. And this is all matte. So I'm going to be pairing it with some single shimmers that I got from the Simply Posh Black Friday sale. I'm not sure which one, but probably one of these three. These are most of the shimmers that Simply Posh currently has. They are shimmers from the Aurora Lights, the Coastal, and the Aurora Lights, Coastal, not Fairy Tale Fairies. What's the other one? I'm sorry, I can't remember. Anyway, I bought almost all of the three sets that they had offered at that time, and I'm not sure which one I'll be playing with, but they are labeled on the back, so I'll let you know when that time comes. But meanwhile, I want to talk today about PR, and I have kind of a low battery on my phone as I record, so I'm just going to get rolling. Diving into Fox and Fairies. That's beautiful. Great match for my lips. Perfect match. Boy, I'm kind of got it all going on today, huh? Oh, and the mirror cover is still on here. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about PR, and I actually had two things to mention. First off, the brands that I'd love to receive PR from, but more than that, some thoughts about PR in general. I had a subscriber, I will put the comment in the screen. I'm sorry I don't remember their name, but they made a really interesting comment about PR, and they said that they watch a lot of larger channels, and it seems like the channels who get less PR are more creative with their content. And that makes so much sense to me, because when you don't have enough, you just have to get a little bit imaginative with what you do have, right? And I have so many different series here on my channel, and themes and stuff. I'm gonna take Twilight Sunset, see what that does up here. I think it's basically the blended out version of this color with maybe a hint more red. I have so many different series on my channel, and part of that is because I just need to be more creative, you know? Like, okay, let's play palette bingo. Okay, let's dupe the vibes. Okay, let's see if I can recreate this new release with what I've already got, or recreate a look that somebody did with a new release, just using what I have. Lots of shop my stash and collaborations with other people, and just a lot of different series. I'm not the channel where you're gonna come for a, you know, first impression or review of the newest items. That's not me, because I almost never ever have the newest items. And so I just thought it was such an interesting comment. Like, yeah, that makes total sense to me, and I see that in my own channel and my own content as well. Now I'm taking the same brush, I've cleaned it off on a napkin on my lap, and I'm very impressed. Ooh, and laying that, it's actually a little bit darker and a little bit more green than I was expecting. Does it look more yellow in the pan to you? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe my lighting is just terrible. So on the one hand, the idea of getting PR is so satisfying, right? It feels validating, and you know, you're finally getting somewhere. You're being recognized. People are noticing you. Brands are noticing you. And I have gotten PR twice. I was contacted by Nomad Cosmetics about a year ago, actually, yeah, a year ago, last March, and they sent me the Ireland Wild Atlantic White palette in PR. And I was so excited, my first PR ever. It was just delightful. I just felt recognized, and like I'd made some sort of a dent and some sort of an imprint somewhere. And Nomad has a micro influencer program, so they said maybe in about a year and a half they would send me some more PR. So we'll see what happens in the summertime. But the other PR I've received, let me deepen a little bit, is from It's Belle Cosmetics. I'm going into Mulch Maker. Yeah, that deepens pretty nicely. It's Belle sent me their Tropical Nights palette when they collaborated with Brie C Beauty, because she and I are buddies here on YouTube, and she added me to the PR list for that launch, which was so kind, and it's a lovely palette. So I have received PR twice. And when I look at people who have tons of PR, it's interesting the sorts of things I see. If they get all the releases, they very quickly become the channel that people go to for the first impressions and tutorials and reviews. And I understand that. It makes sense. You know, if you've got the product, you're going to review the product. You want to support the brand, you want to show gratitude. I mean, I felt so much gratitude when Nomad sent me their palette. I actually did 2 videos with 4 different looks, almost back to back, possibly back to back. And I was just like, I want to do a good job. I want to show my thankfulness. I said gratitude too many times. I want to show that I'm thankful for receiving this. You have to be careful with the balance because PR is a business decision, almost a business risk. The business is losing money between the product and the expense to ship it, in the hopes that you will make content with their product and that will get other people to buy their product. So it's a business transaction, not necessarily monetized or sponsored, but it is still a business choice. And you have to remember that, because as much as you might like a brand owner, if people are coming to you for reviews, you've got to be honest. Even though you might feel some gratitude for receiving it, it's still, you have to maintain your integrity. And I think that's where a lot of people slip up. They're getting stuff and they feel grateful and they want to just shout from the rooftops how awesome this item is. But is it? I carried those colors onto my lower lash line as well, and now I'm diving into the shimmers. These are Tropical from the Citrus Punch palette and Simply Posh. The Coastal palette Serene, and this is Tangerine from Citrus Punch. So I'm going to swatch them all: Tropical, Serene, and Tangerine. This one is obvious, and so I don't want to do it. I actually like this one. Yeah, I'm going to do this one. This is Serene from the Coastal palette. So that's just something interesting about PR, is when people get a lot of it, their channel tends to become a new reviews kind of channel. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I personally watch those channels more than I watch others because the quality of the content is often better. Now between these last 2 shimmers, I think I'm gonna do this one, which was for, I don't remember. I'll pop it in the screen. I'll put that right here. And another thing with getting lots and lots of PR is that very quickly it sort of takes over your collection. You have so much that you can't manage anymore. I so often hear the channels that I watch, or the content creators that I watch, say, I wish I had more time to play with these palettes that I love so much. But they're getting so much stuff in all the time, they feel like they have to keep up with it. One person I chat with over on Instagram, I've watched her channel grow quite quickly, and I feel the stress when she talks about, I have to film, 6 videos in the next 2 days, because she's trying to keep up with all of the influx. So it's a blessing, but it's also possibly, potentially, a stressor, a point of frustration or anxiety or burden, bringing this perceived requirement into your life. This is somebody who may be monetized, but it's not even a channel that's like paying their rent. It's just a hobby still. There's this fine line of it's a blessing and it's wonderful and exciting, but it might also bring some negatives with it. Let me switch over to the other eye and see if I can finish this before my battery dies. That being said, there are some brands that I would love to get PR from. And these are brands that have some of my favorite formulas, just beautiful quality shadows and color stories that I like, or I can really kind of get excited about. The first one that came to mind was Adept Cosmetics, because I have found that their newer shimmer formulation is just so beautiful. And every time I see something done with an Adept palette, I go, oh yeah. I have recently been given 2 Adept palettes, and they're both so beautiful, so different in terms of color story, but it's the same quality and the sparkle and the shine, and I'm very excited to play with them. I'd also be grateful to get PR from Gourmand Girls. I do have a code with Gourmand Girls, and the owner insisted that it be affiliated. I don't think anyone's ever used it, but it's there. The small conversations that I've had with the owner, she seems to be super nice. And I have 2 palettes from Gourmand Girls, and they have a really, really nice formula. Really high quality, very easy to work with, very user-friendly and beautiful. Not scary, not too much. I'd love to get PR from Cosmic Brushes. On the whole, I just love their entire aesthetic, their theming. Of course, I have my preferences and, you know, what makes me, what excites me more, what feels more like a me sort of palette. Not everything's going to be 100%, but I love their formula. I was just given a Cosmic Brushes palette that I didn't have, so I look forward to dipping into that. Their aesthetic sometimes is just so 100% me, like the aesthetic of the Undergrowth palette, the Winter Wonderland palette, the Muse palette, like the packaging, the color stories. It's just divine, and I would be so excited to get PR from them. Artitude Cosmetics comes to mind. I've never tried their formula, but I've heard very good things. And they have really done some very unique color stories recently. I would love to try their Urban Neutrals collection. There's just something very different and special about it, and it feels like it's a new kind of experience. Nomad, again, I was privileged to get PR from them once, and Nomad just kills it with the theming and the packaging. I think with the color stories, Nomad is not my tip-top favorite, because I feel that on the whole their color stories are extremely user-friendly and very, very approachable. They do that so well. I like my color stories to have a little flair of something unexpected, and I don't think that Nomad typically has that. The Chicago Speakeasy palette does have that, with that pop of mint in there. You're like, what? And that's what captures my attention. Now, the quality of Nomad, amazing. Like, their mattes, I think at this point, are on par with Blend Bunny. I would like to get PR from Udenzai because I want to see, I lost my brush. I want to see how Udenzai's quality is now. I feel like 2023 into 24 was a bit of a rocky year for them, and I'm hoping that they're able to bring it all back, you know, but I have to experience it myself. And I'm just curious to see where they are now. So receiving PR from them, because I love their aesthetic too. Their packaging is so interesting and different and beautiful. It would be cool to get PR from them, and then I could kind of keep tabs on where they are and whether or not I feel that I could recommend them. There are other brands that I can't think of in the moment, and I know my battery is going to die soon, so I'm going to try to hurry this up. Although it would be so nice and such a treat to get recognized by these brands, at the same time, it could get to the point where it's too much. And I really try to keep things manageable for myself. What shades did I use? I kind of need to know that, don't I? I just wanted to match. Yeah. Anyway, I try to keep my collection very manageable, and I have gotten so many palettes from subscribers. I've been absolutely overwhelmed by the generosity of my subscribers. In the last month, I've gotten so much, and it's a great blessing because literally one of any of the palettes that I've received might have been my only new purchase for the entire calendar year. I mean, I could only afford to get one Adept palette, and I'd have to save up for it, you know what I mean? And somebody, like, I just got two different people sent me Adept palettes, and I've got some new Nomad palettes in my collection, and the colored Raine, and I got a pile of Ensley Raine, and it's been such a great blessing. But I also look at my collection and I think, okay, well, what should I be getting rid of? Something that's not as exciting anymore, something that's lived a good life in my collection. It's time to pass it on so that I can still keep my collection workable for me, manageable, something that I can take in one bite and not be overwhelmed by it. It would be so awesome to get PR from these brands and others as well. But I wouldn't want to get all of their releases all the time unless I had a couple of major shifts in my life. I hope I was able to convey what I'm trying to get at here. On the one hand, it would be so cool and, as I said, validating, exciting, stimulating, you know, reinforcing that you're doing a good job. It would be awesome to get PR from these brands that I've mentioned and more. These are just, you know, the ones that popped into my head as I spoke, knowing that my battery was going to die. But at the same time, as a hobby content creator, I don't want to have so much influx that it begins to be a stressor for me, that it takes this little joyful space I've carved out and adds in burden or frustration or deadlines or anxiety. And I think that even if it's subconscious, even if, you know, a brand sends you a new release, there's no obligation that you have to do something with it. You can choose not to, of course. In fact, that box that I recently got from a larger content creator was entirely composed of what I think they had received in PR and just didn't have a chance to film. So there's no obligation. You don't have to do something with it. But especially as a smaller content creator who's kind of coming up in the ranks and trying to make content that people actually want to see, everyone's looking for the new releases. So if you get something from a brand, you've got that element of gratitude, which I mentioned earlier. You've got that element of flattery and excitement and, oh, here I am up and coming, so I want to make sure I do a good job. And you also have the pressure of a deadline, like it's being released this day, so let me try to get my video out before then so people can see in advance. I understand all of this. And again, this is from the perspective of somebody who does it as a hobby. If I were monetized and using the channel's income to pay my bills, if I needed that money for groceries and rent, my perspective would probably be quite different, because at that point you're more concerned with getting the views, you're more concerned with longer engagement so that the AdSense can kick in, you're more concerned with PR codes or affiliate codes. I understand there's a totally different perspective when you're relying on the money generated by your content, but that's not my position. And so again, while I would love to get PR from all these brands, I still have to maintain the balance and in my own life, the work or the hobby life balance, because I have several children and I'm a homeschooling mom and I have duties at home. It just needs to be something that still works and doesn't bring in stress or strain. It's important to maintain that balance no matter what. Let me tell you what I did. There's actually a lot going on, so I'm gonna just go through all the products to finish off today's look and we'll close out the video. I put black in my waterline. This is something from NYX. It is the Liquid Crystal Body Liner. I used this as little gold dots right here and out here. It's been sitting in my little basket for ages. I'd forgotten about it and I thought it would be nice to use it today. I did do a winged eyeliner using my graphic liner kit from DISCONTINUED Cosmetics. By the way, everything is linked in the description box as far as it's available. I have mascara on, I have a little bit of bronzer, and then I thought I'm just gonna do bronzer and highlighter, so I pulled up my Aurora Glow Kit for highlighter, and then I remembered that I have this palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. It's the Spring Magic Blush Palette, and I was just having too much fun, so I dipped into both of these oranges for a little whisper of blush. And finally on my lips I have the Italia Deluxe Liner Pencil in 1065 Terracotta and a ColourPop glowing lip in the shade Desert Aura. That's kind of a ton of stuff, and I'm dropping it everywhere. Anyway, that's today's video. I would love to hear your thoughts, of course, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't want to get PR from these companies. I'm just saying it's an interesting dichotomy of wanting it, recognizing that maybe it would shift the balance in your world and you have to try, like, really preserve that balance the best you can so that you don't go crazy. And also paying attention to the fact that I can be more creative with my collection when I have less, because it forces me to use things in different ways and to look at things in different categories, or to start BYOP, or to do all these different themed videos playing with what I have, because I don't have tons and tons and tons. I'd like to hear your thoughts and your comments and your perspective. As always, thank you so much for being here today. Let me know in the comments below what you think about today's eyeshadow look, today's video in general. Perhaps you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go if you want to see more content like this, and I look forward to chatting with you in my next video. Bye.